Welcome to the October 16th, 2024 meeting of the Edina Planning Commission. The city is committed to continuing to receive and hear your input on matters. We have been collecting public input through voicemail and our engagement website, bettertogetheredina.org. It is important you know that all comments that have been submitted have been received and read prior to the start of this meeting. You do not need to submit the same feedback in another way. All feedback is considered equally, regardless of the way in which it was submitted. Tonight, there is one public hearing. Individuals who want to provide testimony remotely for the public hearing can call 312-535-8110 and enter access code 2630-098-6460. The password is 5454. Press star 3 on your telephone keypad when you would like to get in the queue to speak. A staff member will unmute you when it is your turn. Please state your full name and address, including unit number, before speaking. Everyone is allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. Remember, you do not need to call in or comment live tonight if you have already provided feedback. Also, do not repeat information already presented. Provide testimony if you have new comments or information to bring forward. Call to order the October 16th meeting, 2024. Roll call.
Commissioner Alkire?
Here.
Commissioner Padilla?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Jha? Here. Commissioner Felt?
Here.
Chair Miranda?
Here. Okay, the first or the next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any not in favor say nay. Okay, that passes. The next is the approval of the meeting minutes. We have the Planning Commission meeting minutes from September 25th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor say nay. Okay, passes. Okay. We will now hear from residents in person who would like to speak about something not on tonight's agenda or scheduled for a future public hearing. You may speak for up to 3 minutes. After giving your full name and address, including unit number, the green light at your podium will turn on. When you have 30 seconds remaining, the yellow light will turn on. When you're out of time, the red light will turn on. I'll read this also. Let's see here. During community comment, the commission will invite residents to share relevant issues or concerns. Individuals must limit their comments to 3 minutes. The chair may limit the number of speakers on the same issue in the interest of time and topic. Generally speaking, items that are elsewhere on tonight's agenda may not be addressed during community comment. Individuals should not expect the chair or commission members to respond to their comments tonight. Instead, the commission might refer the matter to staff for consideration at a future meeting. Is there anyone here who wants to speak? No? No, okay. Okay, closing community comment. We have one public hearing tonight. Let's see. A 10.9-foot front yard setback variance from the required 38.2 feet for a garage addition to be 27.3 feet to the north lot line at 5409 Grove Street. The homeowners are proposing a 2-story garage addition to the east side of the existing attached garage. Chris Acker, Assistant Planner, will present.
Thank you, Chair, members of the Planning Commission. This is a request for a variance at 5409 Grove Street from Section 36-439 of the Edina City Code to allow a 10.9-foot front yard setback variance from the 38.2-foot requirement to be 27.3 feet from the front lot line to allow a side addition to an existing attached two-car garage. The subject property is located on the south side of Grove here, and it is adjacent to a cul-de-sac. It also has XL high lines along the east side of the property. There's a 50-foot wide easement that can't be built within along that easement area. And then further east, you have railroad tracks, and on the other side of the railroad tracks are homes that are backing up to the railroad tracks. So the only directly affected neighbor by the request would be the property owner that is directly to the west, who actually is, this setback to the property to the west is the one that sets up the setback requirement for 5409. And they have a slightly deeper setback at 38.2 feet from the porch of the existing home that's adjacent, but to the front corner of the existing house, it's 30 feet away because of the curvature of the cul-de-sac. And then for the addition, which is going directly east, and that is this area right here, which is actually inset further from the front wall of the garage, that will be 27.3 feet away, because as you go further east, because of the cul-de-sac, that front yard setback starts cutting deeper into the lot. And you can see that with this graphic. The pink area is the front yard area. The setback is along here. The existing home is slightly non-conforming right here, but then to add on to the garage towards the east, this red area illustrates the overlap into the setback area. The purple dashed lines indicate the easement area that can't be built on, with the high line that goes through, and then the railroad tracks further east. So what the proposal is that the garage currently is undersized for a two-car garage, and they can't fit both of their cars in it. They would like to add on an additional garage stall. They also would like to have a sport court room behind the garage, and then above that, they would have an office area. The sport court would be open above to below, and you can see this 3D view of the garage as you're looking south, and then also as you're looking north, this would be the back wall of the new addition to the garage. So this would be the section garage on the lower level, new office space above, and then that sport court behind. The rear elevation, this gives you a site plan showing that addition to the existing house. And then the new front elevation and east elevation that is facing the railroad tracks. So Minnesota state statutes and the ordinances require the following conditions must be satisfied affirmatively to grant a variance: that the proposed variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance. The purpose and intent of the front yard setback requirement is to provide a consistent minimum space from structures to the lot line adjacent to the street. However, the code allows for deeper setbacks if somebody chooses to build further back on the lot, which then affects adjacent properties who wish to expand. It can make another property non-conforming, which in this instance is the case. The house is slightly non-conforming, and then to go further east, it gets just that much more non-conforming. A deeper front yard setback is required for the property given the front yard setback to the neighbor to the west. The ordinance does not account for the deep curve of the cul-de-sac, with setbacks pushed deeper into the lot and misaligned with the front of the home. The variance would be consistent with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan guides the property at low density residential. That will not change. It continues to be a house. It's an addition to the garage. There are practical difficulties in complying with the ordinance. The term practical difficulty means that the property owner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the zoning ordinance. The proposed use is permitted in the R1 single dwelling unit zoning district and complies with all zoning standards with the exception of the front yard setback. The curvature of the cul-de-sac and required setback forces the addition further south on the lot with an Xcel Energy High Line easement restricting much of the expansion opportunity that you would normally assume the lot would have. The practical difficulties are caused by the existing location of the home as it relates to the home to the west, the required average front yard setback, the right-of-way based on the neighbor's front yard setback, and the impact of the cul-de-sac curvature of the building placement. The plight of the landowner is due to circumstances that are unique to the property, not common to every similarly zoned property, and that are not self-created. The property was developed with the north front yard setback closer to the lot line than currently allowed, given the neighbor's setback. Additions to the property are affected by the required front yard setback established by the neighbor and the existing conditions of the lot, which are not self-created. Will the variance alter the essential character of the neighborhood? Granting the variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. The front yard setback of the addition will allow for a logical extension of the existing non-conforming garage with all other zoning requirements in compliance. The area affected to the east of the Xcel Energy High Line easement and railroad tracks, so there's no affected neighbor directly adjacent to the improvement. Staff does recommend approval of the 10.9-foot front yard setback variance from the 38.2-foot requirement. Approval is based on the following findings. The practical difficulty is caused by the required average front yard setback requirement, the cul-de-sac setback impact, and the existing location of the house. There are circumstances that are unique to the property. Those unique circumstances include having street frontage with a cul-de-sac affecting the buildable area on the east side of the lot, a large highline easement affecting the side and rear yard of the buildable area, and a railroad track adjacent to the east. Had this been a typical home along a block where they're all lined up with one another, like similarly zoned properties, it would not have required a variance because the front of the house would have been parallel to the front lot line and they could just simply match that. And the proposer will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. The garage is of a similar design to the house with matching materials. The addition will provide a garage setback similar to the corner lot from a cul-de-sac. Any approval should be subject to the following conditions: subject to plans and surveys, date stamped September 9th, 2024, compliance with the engineer's memo dated October 10th, 2024, and compliance with the tree ordinance. There were a number of comments in Better Together Edina. All of them were positive. We do have Brady Jensen, Scott Palmer, who are the builders of the project, and then the property owners, Brian and Abby Heidemann, hope I pronounced that right, are here as well. And I will stop and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. Any questions from the commission?
I just had one for, excuse me, for clarification. It looks like in the overhead photos that the house to the west, the northern part of the lot to the west appears to be a side yard, but does that not have anything to do with anything here?
It does. I mean, if you look at the front of the house, it would be facing Garden Avenue, so the front door does face Garden Avenue. It happens to address off of Grove, and if you look at the definition of what the front lot line is, it would be the narrower portion of a lot to the street, and this is corner lot. There's nothing that dictates somebody where they can put their front door or where they can front their house, but from a definition standpoint, the front would be that north lot line.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you very much, Glenn Rocker. Now we'll have MSP Homes or the property owners present. Did you have a presentation? No presentation at all? Okay. Okay. All right. We will now hear from residents who would like to provide testimony. Individuals who want to provide input remotely for the public hearing can call 312-535-8110 and enter access code 2630-098-6460. The password is 5454. Press star 3 on your telephone keypad when you would like to get in the queue to speak. Callers, if you are watching the meeting on any other device or television, please mute that before speaking so there's not an echo or feedback. When you hear the prompt on your telephone that you've been unmuted, please begin speaking by giving your name and address, including unit number, for the record. You will then have 3 minutes to speak. Remember, it is not necessary to provide testimony if you have already provided comments via voicemail or bettertogether@dyna.org. Call in if you have new comments or information to bring forward. Okay, so I guess first we'll have anyone in the audience. Seeing none, guess we should wait a minute.
We can. I did start the timer when
Okay.
you started talking, and so we have about 15 seconds left, if that works for you. We'll
Sure.
just wait.
Is there anyone on the line? Or?
No.
No, okay.
Nobody has joined the queue to speak at all, so I think it's safe to proceed.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, then do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone not in favor, say nay. Okay. The public comment has ended. Now it's back to the commission. Any comments or discussion? Actually, just discussion at this point, yeah.
Start with me,
Want to start?
and then you can talk to this side there. Well, I think we have certainly provided variances for projects like this in the past, for houses that are on cul-de-sacs, where the front lot line kind of varies. And I do think this is in harmony with the ordinance and consistent with our comp plan. And the practical difficulties they had, they don't have the use of their side yard because of the high power line. And I think this is also consistent with the neighboring homes. I mean, there's just a slight variation to the neighbor to the west, but it's very consistent with the street line, so I don't see any issues with granting this variance personally.
Okay, great, thank you. Quincy?
Yeah, I certainly would agree with this. You know, cul-de-sacs always are interesting because of the curvature, and we certainly granted quite a few variances along these same lines in the past. I think too, you know, just a design of the home, what's being proposed, it makes complete sense. You know, adding a second car garage, that's very practical. I think that makes sense too. I always look at the metrics to see what is the city standard compared to what the proposal is. And one thing I certainly pay attention to is lot size and lot coverage. And I think this design, what's being proposed, meets all those criteria. And so everything here just seems like it makes sense of what the homeowner is trying to do, as well as the practical difficulties of the cul-de-sac. And also, you know, there's the train tracks on the other side, so there's very, very limited ability to impede on anything to the east. And so, yeah, this is something that I'd be very in favor of approving today.
I just had one simple question. I'm sure you can answer. The sport court and the office that are going to be built, are they going to be fully plumbed? Not at all. So there'll be no plumbing. It's not a future ADU. Okay, I fully support this. I think it meets all the variance requirements, and it is unique in so many respects. You have my full support.
I don't really have anything to add. I agree with the comments already made, so we'll leave it at that.
Okay, my only comment is well, I guess two things. One is the image, the generated image, seems compressed horizontally, so it's kind of hard to tell what, obviously the garage is narrower, the truck is narrower than a truck would be, so it's kind of hard to tell, like space-wise, what's happening. Also, looking at the diagram from above, it looks like the oak tree is going to be taken out because it looks like the wall goes right through it. No? Okay, because that's what it looks like. Can someone speak to that on the... Is that a retaining wall that's going through there, or... I'm trying to understand the diagram.
Yes, so there is an existing retaining wall noted on there, and our surveyor had put a proposed retaining wall on there as well. Our goal is to not disturb the tree or the critical root zone at all. We're going to do our best to make the retaining wall not dig down in that portion and just kind of butt it up as close to the tree as we can without affecting it whatsoever. It's a big, tall tree. It provides a lot of shade, and they don't want to get rid of it, and we're going to do our best to avoid that.
Great, thank you. Okay, then I guess I agree with my fellow commissioners. I don't really have anything else to say. And the feedback on Better Together was very positive, and they made some good comments. So anyone have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? No. All in favor say aye.
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 Non in favor say nay. Okay. Passes. Thank you. Congratulations. It's not always scary. Okay, great. Well, that concludes our public hearing. Next, we have reports and recommendations. No, we have none. Okay. Chair and member comments. Anyone? No? Okay. Staff comments.
No, sir.
No staff comments. Are we going to set a record tonight? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Oh,
I second.
okay. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Commissioner Miranda, you